Welcome to my latest 2023 NFL preview video. Today I am breaking down the Cleveland Browns. Here's how my videos work. I start off with 3 things I like about the Browns, followed by 3 things I don't like. Then we go over to yearly win total odds, break down the schedule, and at the end I reveal if I'm going to put action down on the Cleveland Browns. Let's kick this off with 3 things I like about the Cleveland Browns. The first thing I like about the Cleveland Browns is obvious. You get Deshaun Watson for all 17 games. With Watson having a normal offseason by NFL standards and not the media circus that surrounded him last season, you get to see what a top 10, maybe top 5 quarterback in the NFL can actually do. The second thing I like about the Browns is directly related to Watson, and that is the weapons Cleveland surrounded him with. I'm trying to keep all my breakdowns under 10 minutes. I won't go into extreme detail, but one thing I want to point out, something that was really overlooked during the draft, was the Elijah Moore trade. This was one of my major draft crushes, and the versatile speedy weapon is exactly what the Browns needed. Anthony Schwartz hasn't panned out, and Jakeem Grant missed almost all of last year with an injury. Adding Moore with Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones gives you a weapon sorely lacking in this offense, and he doesn't even need to touch the ball. His speed and playmaking ability allows more one-on-ones for the outside receivers, and it makes stacking the box so much more difficult. You combine this with Deshaun Watson and you have something potentially really special here in Cleveland. The third thing I like is the additions on the defensive line. If you ask me who the best pure athlete in the NFL is, I will tell you it's Myles Garrett. Last year Garrett had 16 sacks, but the rest of the Browns only had 18. Plus Cleveland had one of the NFL's worst run defenses. Cleveland made a priority to get Garnett some help in both free agency and the draft. They added defensive tackles to Alvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, Tristan Hill, and the 3rd round pick, the massive Sakaya Ikea out of Baylor. They also added Darius Smith, who's a defensive end who is known for rushing the passer but stopping the run as well, unlike Clowney. Cleveland spent money and draft capital with 3 new starters on the defensive line to line up next to who I consider the best pure athlete in the NFL. For Cleveland to make the playoffs, they cannot be a bottom 5 rushing defense who only gets 34 sacks. Think about this, you get 16 sacks from Myles Garrett, and as a team you only get 34. By the way, I believe new defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz will greatly improve this defense. To recap the 3 things I like about the Browns, you get Deshaun Watson for 17 games, the offensive weapons for Watson, and the defensive line additions. Before I go over the 3 things I don't like about the Browns, make sure you smash that like button, and this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out big time when you subscribe. Now, 3 things I don't like about the Cleveland Browns. The first thing I don't like is the brutal AFC North. Cleveland was the only AFC North team without a winning record in 2022. I can also make a strong case that the other 3 teams in the division all improved this offseason. For a team trying to get out of the basement in their division, they'll have 3 massive roadblocks. This goes hand in hand with the second thing I don't like, and that is the Kevin Stefanski hot seat. Now publicly there's not much talk about Kevin Stefanski being on the hot seat, but when you start off 11-5 with a playoff win, then you have 2 consecutive losing seasons, a 3rd one really isn't a good idea, especially with a franchise that's had 8 head coaches since 2010. You add this to the fact that you couldn't make things work with former number 1 overall pick Baker Mayfield, so you trade an arm and a leg and draft capital for Deshaun Watson. Now with Watson, if you deliver a 3rd consecutive losing season, it's highly unlikely you're getting another chance. By the way, new defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz does have head coaching experience and could be your replacement if things don't work out this year. The 3rd thing I don't like about the Browns is they need Nick Chubb to stay healthy. When Nick Chubb was a freshman at Georgia, he took over for Heisman frontrunner Todd Gurley, and I thought he actually outplayed Gurley. When I posted this on social media, I was massively ridiculed, but in hindsight I was correct. When healthy, Nick Chubb is easily a top 5 running back and one of the best players in the NFL. In 5 seasons with the Browns, he has only played in every game twice, including last season. If you tell me Chubb plays in all 17 games in 2023, I will tell you Cleveland wins at least 10 games, but Chubb didn't stay healthy at Georgia, and he hasn't been able to stay stay on the field consistently in Cleveland. This team runs through Nick Chubb, and if he goes down, you can no longer turn to Kareem Hunt, who was not re-signed this offseason. Again, if Chubb plays in all 17 games, Cleveland will win at least 10 games, but if he goes down, the Browns don't have a backup plan and most likely have another losing season. To recap the three things I don't like about the Browns, they play in the brutal AFC North. Kevin Stefanski is on the hot seat, and you have to bank on Nick Chubb to play a full season. Now let's reveal the yearly win total odds and go over the schedule. The magic number is 9.5 across the board, with the over as a positive number. If you don't understand yearly win total odds, you can check out this video here. Now, since the number you want to hit is either 9 if you like the under or 10 at the over, let's look at the schedule and see if we can get Cleveland a winning record. You have an opportunity to get off to a great start with 4 out of the first 5 games being at home. The week 5 bye is advantageous because San Francisco will host Dallas Sunday night, while you get an extra week to prepare and rest. The first 5 games are the most important because 4 are at home and 3 are against division opponents. If Cleveland doesn't have a winning record after week 6, I really don't think they will finish with a winning record. You heard me mention my man crush on Nick Chubb. He should be healthy and Cleveland's biggest weapon the first 6 weeks of the season. After week 6, you have some very winnable road games at Indianapolis and Houston, and Arizona and Chicago are winnable home games. If you start 3-2, I could easily see 10 wins. Cleveland is my sleeper AFC team, and again, Nick Chubb is one of my all-time favorite players, but I don't see 3 wins the first 6 weeks of the season. I think you could maybe get to 8 or 9 wins, but my play would be the under. That said, on paper, this is easily a 10-win team, but I wouldn't bet on it. The Browns for me are an absolute hard pass. They have all the talent of a 10-plus win team, but I just don't see it happening. This is my opinion, but I would really love to hear from you. What will the Browns do in 2023? You can check out all 32 NFL teams previewed here on this playlist, and tomorrow I break down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I hope to see you back tomorrow.